Hey guys, welcome back for our weekly live event on Instagram, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. For those who don't know who I am, I'm Pascal Corcus. I have a finance degree in finance. I have a bachelor's degree in finance, minor in mathematics, second degree in accounting, minor in economics and international business. I have insurance agencies, accounting firms, property management company, real estate investment company. So basically anything involving finance and real estate, taxes and credit, I'll be happy to answer. Welcome back to all of my weekly visitors. Kind of a couple of things. I go live on YouTube Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I kind of just prep everybody for the week and get everybody going so they can get motivated for the week to come. You know, if you're aiming for a goal and you're trying to accomplish it, you know, it's really great to just get yourself going so you can win the week. You know, you win Monday, you'll win the rest of the week. So, thank you. All right. What's up, guys? Hello, Buff. Hello, D. What's up, Randy? What's up, Sweet Potato? All right. Greetings from Austria, Vienna. Actually, I went to visit Austria. It was really nice. It's like beautiful country. Like stuff you would see in a postcard. It actually looks like that. It's really cool. But actually, if you come to Clearwater, Florida, and the stuff you see in the postcards, it actually looks like that here too. So it's I guess we're both really lucky. What's up, King? All right. Yes, I did say I go live on YouTube. So on YouTube, there's a link to my account in my bio. So in my Instagram bio, you'll have a link to my YouTube page. I go live on YouTube every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. What's up, guys? What's up, Connie? Strong Life, yeah. So I work out with Strong Life. It's headed by Tony Conyers. He's two-time world champion powerlifter. I used to work out with Tony back like 10 years ago when I used to be a competitive powerlifter. Went to states, I won states, went to nationals, I got 10th in the nation. It was a great time. And now I'm actually back working out with them because I love the vibe, I love the energy. So yeah, great workout yesterday, guys. What's up, Matthew? Happy Thanksgiving. Namaste. So what are some of my goals for the next year? So I really kind of prepped myself this year to prepare myself for next year. So I have you know how they say have some big, hairy, audacious goals, right? Some crazy goals that you really are super difficult to get to, but have those goals. Because again, if you aim for the stars and you still end up in the sky, you're still flying high. So go for those goals. One, probably try to shoot for 1 million followers on Instagram. I'm going to shoot for at least 100,000 followers on YouTube. Right now I probably have 35 units, multi-units. I'm going to shoot for somewhere north to 250 multi-unit properties, units wise, not properties, but units. I'm going to work on expanding my marketing team, probably have 3 people full-time or at least, over 20 hours a week working on stuff, putting out content, teaching classes. Just, I got a lot of stuff I've been studying. So again, you guys have known probably for 6 months, but I've been studying finance since I was 14. So I've been studying it hardcore, nonstop for 20 years. So there's a lot of stuff for me that is common sense or like no brainer. You don't even think about it. It's just, this is what the answer is. And to a lot of people, that concept is like learning the alphabet. So some people will ask me some questions and I'm like, you're trying to have me teach you the letter A. And this is not meant to be taken the wrong way, but I'm really realizing how little a lot of people know. And now I'm like, wow, okay, I want to try to help people out. And that's why I'm putting out all these videos. So the first thing I tell everybody is like, have you watched all my videos? Because if I'm trying to give you like a really basic concept and people are like, I don't get it. So I'm like, wow, okay. You got to kind of like drill it in you. So let me give you an example. Like I've always wanted to do Kung Fu, so I'm doing Wing Chun now. And I'm learning Wing Chun and I'm practicing. And in the classes that I'm being taught, right, I'm learning like these moves. And for me, I'm like, wow, this move's so cool. But to the Sifu, which means teacher, he's like, I'm teaching you the alphabet. Now for me, I'm just like mind blown that like I'm learning this stuff, right? Because I've always wanted to and it's so cool. But to him, he's like, I'm just teaching you the alphabet right now. And later, I'm going to teach you combinations, which is basically trying to form words. And eventually, I'm going to try to form sentences. And this, for me, is, again, awesome and amazing. But they're, like, really basic. So right now, he's just showing me basics. I record him, and then I take it home and I practice it again. And this is what it is. It's like, if you want to get good and you want to get fast, you have to watch the same video, like, 3 times. So I got the video of him. He showed it to me 3 times in person. And I got to do it again 3 times at home, minimum, every single day. Just this. This one move, right? What does Bruce Lee say? Do this one move 1,000 times. Better than you do 1,000 moves 1 time. And this is what I see all the time. I see people studying 1,000 different things in real estate. Because I'm telling you, there's 1,000 ways you can play this game. But they learn each one time. But they never execute those moves either. So I'm like, you can't benefit. Don't learn these things. Stick to this one thing I'm trying to teach you. Because what I'm teaching you is the easiest way to win this game. It is the most conservative way. It's the least likely way for you to go bankrupt or lose. Just follow it and be patient. Because for you to execute might take you some time. But when you do execute and it does happen, you're not going to lose it. Because what does it matter if you end up getting a bunch of properties and lose it all? It happened in '08. I know a guy had 100. And I looked at him and I'm like, this makes 0 sense how you're able to do this. Because I can run numbers. 1 + 1 is 2. And his formula did not work and it could not last. So if I show you how to do it and you apply it, it will stick. But you have to be patient in the process, you know? You know, like everybody in the gym's like, oh, I want to bench 315. You can bench 315. But if you go and try to bench 225 and you're not even ready for that, you're going to hurt yourself and you're never going to get there. But if you take the time, you will get there. So be patient. Apologize for that small rant I went on, but trust me, I'm just doing it because I care that you guys succeed. So thanks for all the positive feedback as well. So those are some of my goals. Obviously, continue to do better exercising and working out and everything else. And spend time with the family and just be able to grow as an individual and add more positivity to everywhere I go and be more helpful. So I also believe the more you give, the more you get. So, that's that. So let's get to the questions. All right, all the good stuff. All right, what is a good time to buy real estate? Now, considering the market could drop. So the real estate, understand this concept. The real estate market is not like the stock market. Because you make a lot of money through your rental income, which I call your dividend payment. And appreciation, yes, as well as you're paying down the loan. Now, you can say, well, how am I appreciating if the market tanked? The concept of that is fixed assets to build the property is still going to appreciate. So your rebuild cost normally still goes up in the time that the market tanked. So no one's building at that time though, right? Because they're like, the market tanked, no one can afford to build. So it's the build cost is still appreciating on your property. But what happens is it's like price went down. Let me try to, like this hand graph, right? It's really technical. So your price went down, but build cost has gone up. As the price keeps going down, build cost still goes up. At one point, when the economy stabilizes, what happens is this price will go, right? And you're gonna be like, well, I want to wait and time the market. It's very difficult to time the market. But what I usually advise people to do is never buy the property at this price. Buy the property down here. So even if the market tanks or drops, it will still be at a good value because you bought a property for $100,000. It's worth you put in $20,000 to fix it, and now it's worth $150,000. So you're only in $120,000 between your money, the repair cost, and the loan. So you're still, if it falls, you're still comfortable. You have a cushion. And at the same time, you're doing a 5-year play. If it falls in the short term, I think it lost signal. You're not hurt as bad because you're still collecting rent. You're still making your payments. You're still making money. And it's building up, and you'll spike up. So I'll give you an example. I bought a property for $164,000 before the market tanked. It was a duplex. When the market tanked, it fell to $80,000. Most people sold their properties and ran off. They actually did this. It was pretty questionable. So they stopped paying their mortgage, but collected rent from the tenants for 2, 3 years, 5 years. So they kept collecting that money and not making any mortgage payments, not paying taxes, just letting everything go bad, all their credit go bad, their name go bad, right? And then, kept the cash. I didn't do that. I kept making my payments. And then when the market came back up, now it's back. It went down for 5 years. It went back up for 5 years. And I sold it for $260,000. So it went from $160,000 to $80,000. And then it went back up to $260,000. So I sold it for over $100,000 in profit. So you can see where I'm going with it. The other crazy part is if you give up and you do those things. When I talk to the people that did that and didn't pay their loans for 5 years and kept the cash, or just didn't pay their loan, and I asked them, what did you do with the cash? Where is the cash? They're like, I don't know, I don't have it anymore, I spent it. So I'm like, let me get this straight. You didn't even keep the cash that you kept from the bank when you didn't make those payments, and you lost the asset. So you gave up $100,000 in equity, and you didn't even keep the cash. So maybe you would have some cash to go and buy another property after you fixed your credit back up. So you can't just give up, right? You have to have that stick-to-itiveness. You have to be able to keep on pursuing. So I'm trying to give you these examples of what happened in the past so you can learn from them and avoid those mistakes yourselves. So back to your question. Is it a good time to buy real estate? Now, considering the market could drop, the answer is real estate is an asset-based purchase. So that asset you're buying determines it, not the market. So when the market was down, there was stuff I didn't buy. I would say 90% of the stuff I wouldn't buy. 95% I wouldn't buy. But that 5% that came up, that all the factors that I'm looking for made sense, I bought that. If the market's up, the market's down, the market's sideways, the asset you're buying determines you should buy it, not the market condition. Because you can improve the asset, you can't improve market conditions. And even if the market's going down, if you buy an asset, improve it. Like the last deal I just bought, right? They're like, oh, the market's so hot right now, Pascal. Why would you buy a property for almost $1 million? Because I could buy that property, fix it up. The market could go down. I could still sell it for a profit. Because it's based on the asset. It's based off of my ability to be able to fix it up and be able to sell it for more money? Good question. Hey, what's up, A13 Customs? What's up, Joe? All right, guys. Let's look for some more good questions. All right. Connie's requesting to go live. As always, request to go live. I answer those questions first, and then I go through the DMs or the messages. All right, doesn't look like it went through. What's up, Heba? What's up, Shark? I am Infamous Joe. Can I borrow 100 grand? Sorry, Joe. I'm looking at another deal. All right. Oh yeah, nice tree. Thanks, buddy. I sent you a great message in your direct mail. Please take a look. I would gladly appreciate it. All right, once I get a chance, I will. So remember, guys, anyone who wants to ask questions, you can request to go live. I'll answer your question, especially if you have a technical one. I usually will have follow-up questions for you, so it's a good way for me to be able to get to the full answer. Next comment is, hey, I checked out your duplex. I live in Tampa. I'm just starting. Can I set up networking meeting? Yeah, we could probably figure something out. What's up, Chaz? Do you need an editor? What type of editor? What's up, Josh? What is the difference between rate factor and interest rate? So interest rate is on your actual loan, right? So your interest rate on the loan, 4%, 5%, so on. Rate factor, it depends what you mean by rate factor. Like, what is it, the rate, I need you to give me an example of what type of rate factor you're talking about, because that can kind of mean more than one thing. All right, got a question. So the question is from Alan. It says, I am 18. How do you recommend I start investing? So the first thing is, before you spend any money. So I went to school for finance, right? I took over 200 credit hours in business classes. So I took a lot of business classes. And the first thing they do is they do not let you spend your own money in investing. You test it. So if you're going to be, say, in the stock market, there is free online websites where you can actually go. They'll give you play $100,000, and that play $100,000 will you'll be able to buy stocks, short stocks, do all those different things, and you can see how you actually did. Because everyone thinks they're going to do amazing when they look backwards. Oh, I could have bought that and I could have made money. Yeah, we all think that way. But if we actually have an actual tool that measures it, it will show us how good we are. And then we can practice without losing any money. Because Warren Buffett says this, rule number 1, don't lose any money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. So practice, and if it's not going to be stocks, if it's going to be something else, write it down on a notebook, something you can physically see. I made this decision, and then you can check to see if your decision was right. And I did that hundreds and thousands of times on real estate deals, and then I saw, yes, it made sense, it made sense, it made sense. And over the years, I was able to check it and see, was I right? And that made me build my confidence. So when a deal came up, I said, I'm going for it. And that is what's necessary, because a lot of people are on the sidelines. They never pull the trigger and do a deal. And you can't make any money if you don't do any deals. Great question. So, any tips on how to blow up a clothing business? I'm 15 and planning on big things. Just need some advice. So, there's many ways to do that, and you can go many ways about it. You can be niche and only make a couple, and then pre-sell the product and make it a very hype brand. So then people really want to buy it and they're begging for the product. That is one way to help sell product without even spending any money. And actually, I had a clothing line when I was 17, so I definitely did it that way, and I made money. Two, if you're going to start marketing your product, you have to make it the way you want it. Like the way people want it. So like Savage. My buddy Achille owns Achille Apparel. So he makes Savage, he makes Zero Friends, all those like great shirts that you see me wear, Guns N' Roses. So you have to have what people want, and then people are going to come after it. Great question. Let's see, next question. It looks like it's more of a comment. Oh, okay, it's a question. How to get foreclosure houses from the bank at a discount? So, right now, it's like almost impossible. Like, I'm being honest with you. The banks are selling houses for more than repaired homes. Like literally, I see so many houses that are destroyed, and the bank's trying to get the same amount of money for this horrible house than a house that is in perfectly good condition. It makes no sense at all. And I'm like telling the guy, and the realtor that's selling it is like, I know I can't do anything about it. The bank will not listen to me and will not sell it at a reasonable price. So it's really tough. What normally happens is the bank has it on the market for a really long time, and finally is like, man, I'm fed up. I need to get rid of this. So one tip for you guys, banks want to get stuff off of the books before next year. That's normally the way to do it, and normally before the end of the quarter. So you're going to get in March, June, September, and December. Those are times that you're going to be able to get good deals from the banks. So, and normally you'll find them on the MLS because they have to list it on there. That's kind of a part of the process. So some person had the nerve to be like, well, you're getting some special deals from some people, and that's why you got that good deal. I was like, no, it literally hit the market. I was the very first person to call, and I said, I'm going to give you 10% more than what you're asking for because it was a sick deal, and I'm not going to be dumb enough to be greedy. No, I'm going to give you more money. Let me get the deal, and I'm happy to make $80,000 on that profit. I don't need to make the extra $15,000. And what the people that offered 140 didn't get it. Or 130 didn't get it. I offered 145 and I got it. So again, don't be greedy and you'll be able to get more deals. So next question from Saul says, how do I start to learn finance? No college. I'm 17. So I learned more from the books I read at home than I actually did from college, right? So college really just taught me like the terms for the things that I learned in real life, practicing finance and investing. So you have to read. Warren Buffett's mentor wrote a lot of books. One of the books he wrote was Intelligent Investor. The guy's name is Benjamin Graham. So you want to read everything by Benjamin Graham. If you want to know finance, he was the father of modern finance, of value investing. So if you want to know value investing, as well as Warren Buffett, read everything by Benjamin Graham multiple times. Now, you'll need to know how to talk to people. Because in finance, there's part of it is selling. So you need to talk to people. You're going to read the book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Dale Carnegie also wrote many other books. Read them all. There's another book you need to read. It's called Think and Grow Rich. That's going to change the way you think. Because you can learn how to talk to people and you can learn how finance works. But if you don't believe it and you don't think you got a shot, you'll never try. So you lost before you even started. The saying goes, a person wins twice. Once in their head when they believe they can do it and they visualize themselves winning, and the second time in real life when they're actually applying it to win. So you need to read Think and Grow Rich. so you can be able to have the thinking of millionaires and billionaires. Next, a good combination of all those books together in one book is Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He also wrote many other books. All of these authors wrote multiple books. Read them all. If you want to be good, read them all. More than one time. Because Think and Grow Rich says you should read it at least 3 times so you can understand the concept. So, read it once, next year read it again, the year after that read it again. And you're going to see yourself climbing. This is a compound effect. Warren Buffett says the best investment you can make is in yourself. This knowledge is compounding, and you're going to start connecting all the dots from all these different books of all these things they're saying, and you're like, this doesn't make any sense. And then eventually you're going to come to the point where like, wait, all these books are basically telling me similar things, and I'm basically just rejecting what they're telling me. So I guess if I want to be successful like they're telling me, I need to apply it. So these are all the basic books that almost everyone's going to tell you should read regarding these topics. All right, let's see. Wow, great, lots of questions. Again, guys, if you guys want to go live, request to go live, I'll answer your questions. Again, if you ask to go live, those people kind of get their questions answered first, because I'm able to give them a really in-depth answer, and everyone watching gets a really in-depth answer, and we all learn. If you had all right. Next question. If you had $10,000 to invest, what would you do with it? All right. If I had $10,000 to invest and I was first-time home buyer, I would try to save a little bit more than that, because you can do so much money as a first-time home buyer. I would only need 3.5% down, plus about $5,000 in closing costs, and I could buy like a duplex for $200,000 and live in one side and rent out the other. And I would save maybe $1,000 in rent from paying someone else. I'd pay myself that $1,000, and then a tenant would pay me another $1,000. So I'd bring in $2,000 a month at least, paying expenses and pocketing the rest, and then having all these tax benefits and all this, and the asset appreciating. That's what I would do. And then you could probably get some credits from, the county or the city or different non-for-profits to help you towards it with a down payment as well. So you might even be able to get a $300,000 property or $400,000 property. But in reality, you're probably closer to a $300,000 property or $200,000 property with that much money. Great question. All right. Next question we have is, do I need a college degree? No, you do not need a college degree. And I would strongly suggest against it, unless you want to be a nurse or a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer. Otherwise, if you're going to go get a marketing degree, God help you to get a job, because no one's going to hire someone that has a marketing degree. It's very rare to get a job if you have a marketing degree for marketing, because what are they going to teach you? How to do direct mail? Like, no, it's you must have a reason to get a degree. And you know what? Someone just, it wasn't in there, but it said something right here. Like, how about an accounting degree? I got an accounting degree, right? An accounting degree without a CPA is a $40,000 a year job. You're going to spend 4 years to get $40,000 a year? Say you spend the 5th year to get your CPA. What do you make, 50, 60, maybe 80? I mean, that's a lot of time. And if you have to pay for it out of your pocket, that's a lot of time and a lot of money. I mean, you could work at a convenience store, making $14 an hour, work 80 hours a week for 5 years, have more money saved up, reinvest that money, and you'll be way ahead. Now again, you'll be like, wow, that's a crazy concept, Pascal. You want me to work that many hours? Well, if you're working full-time or part-time and you're going to school and you're studying to get good grades and to actually learn in college you're putting in 80 hours. And if you're not, you're leaving with a C for a bullshit degree that you're never going to use. So, the reality of the situation is what I just said. You need to put in work to get results. Because if you're not willing to put in the work, you're not going to get the results. All right, someone requests to go live. Hello? Yeah, I can hear you decent. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you.
And what's the best way to do it? What's the best way to go about my schooling and actually start and work for a firm and everything? Because in the long run, I want to have my own brokerage and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, what
Okay.
would be the best way? What would be the steps that you would take?
To do what exactly? Because you broke up a little bit.
Real estate. As far as I'm enrolling in school January 7th for it. And down the road, I want to have my own brokerage and everything. What
All
steps
right.
would you
So let me
take?
tell you this. Let me tell you this. And this is like me being straight with you. Most agents are not investors, and most do not know what they're talking about. So at 23, I owned more property than people that were like 60 and were agents for like 20 years. There's a problem with that. The
Yeah.
money in the real estate game is owning the asset, not selling the asset. Because the huge tax bill you pay as an agent is like 35%, 40% on your profit. It's crazy. So you have
Yeah, and
to
I
learn
heard
how to
that. And
invest in the asset. And it's not through the classes. The classes are going to teach you how to get a license. Then there's going to be other classes that are going to teach you how to sell real estate. Hopefully. Most agents only do like 2 or 3 deals a year. So you really got to be out there hustling to get deals done. But I would say all the books I mentioned are going to help you understand investing. And that's really what you want to do is, yeah, maybe do some sales, but immediately take the cash you're making from the sales and put it into the asset of real estate. So immediately, there's two types of there's basically I simplify it. I said there's a cash business and there's the cash making business, and then there's the equity building business. So your cash is going to be you working as an agent, bringing that cash in. You should
okay.
not spend that money. Now you're going to be like, well, I'm bringing in 40, 50 a year. I can't spend it. My answer is no. You should maybe only spend like 24 a year. The
Well,
other
the best.
half, you're buying real estate with it.
Well, the
After
best
10
thing.
years, then
Yes.
you can start spending the money.
Yeah, well, the best thing about my position right now is I actually have a full-time job where I only work 3 days a week, but I get my 40 hours in. So I have 4 days a week off to work for sales or whatever the case may be, and put that money to the side and invest it. And at the same time, job to pay my bills
It's a
and get
beautiful
by in the
thing.
meantime.
It's a great benefit. That's smart. And the
I'm
more
sorry,
money you
you
can
broke
start
up a little bit.
shaving off of your expenses, I said the more you can shave your expenses, the more you can reduce, get rid of that cable bill, get rid of whatever you don't need to keep that money saved. It's going to help you a lot. You're going to be able to reinvest it and buy, because that little bit of money, that $10,000 you put into a piece of real estate, real quick turns into 50. Real quick turns into 100. As long as you're patient and not spending it the second it grows. And if you turn that 50 into another deal, that 50 will be 100. You turn that 100 into another deal, the 100 will turn to 200. And the thing grows exponentially. So, you got to go for it.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
No problem, brother. You have a great day.
All right. Yes, sir. You as well. God bless.
God bless. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's see. Next question is, I live in LA and want to purchase a home, but should I start by purchasing in LA, or is it better to try surrounding states? Um, LA itself is pretty expensive. It really depends what your budget is, what you can afford. Um, there is people that are able to find like multi-unit properties for under $500,000. It's definitely a great way to go if you could do that. If you can't say buy in LA directly, maybe you can go and buy in an outside, maybe something that's like an hour away. You know, be willing to put in that commute and be able to buy more for your money because those assets are going to appreciate as well. So I don't buy in Tampa. I buy in the surrounding area, but in the very, very desirable cities in the surrounding areas where people like to go and hang out when they want to get away from the big city. So you're able to usually get more for your money and, you know, have great upside potential later when you sell it. But you can still buy in LA, but you have to make sure that you're spending a long time and a lot of energy to find that good deal. Because again, it's not where, it's finding a good deal in the right location. Another question going live.
Bank provide mortgage or you have to pay full cash to buy any?
So in a foreclosure, there's two
Yeah.
situations. There's a foreclosure that's at the courthouse where you must directly bring money to buy it out, right? There's another foreclosure that you usually can buy through the MLS, which is the listing system. And that gives you 30 days to close on the loan. So you can go to another bank or even the same bank and say, hey, give me a loan. I want to buy this property. So you can, many situations, you can go get a loan to buy that property.
And do you invest in apartment like in Vienna in city center? It's all apartment building. Like if I buy duplex or single family house, it's all on the outskirts of city. So like it's really hard to get rent.
So
So what do you?
I know you do Airbnb in Vienna, which
Yeah.
I think is smart, you know,
Uh,
because you're in a major city.
yes.
So you're going to be able to get a lot of occupancy by using Airbnb and doing VRBO and doing HomeAway, and you're going to be able to make it happen. Not everywhere in the world can you do Airbnb and VRBO and actually be profitable. So it is a good idea what you're doing. In your city, you might not be able to get a duplex. Like in New York City, to get a duplex is probably going to be really hard. In Vienna, it might be really hard. You might have to go to the outskirts. But when you're not outskirts, but like an hour away, it might not make sense, and it might make sense. You have to run the numbers, and at the same time, what I normally say is it's the deal that matters, not anything else. If you find a good deal, right? I don't do Airbnb right now. I don't do any. I have like 30, no Airbnbs. But I found this new building and I wanted it. And I'm like, man, I can buy this and I'll make okay money if I do annual rentals, 12-month rentals. But I said if I do Airbnb, and this area would be pretty good for Airbnb, I'll make a lot more money. I'll probably make double, triple my money. I said, okay, I'm going to do Airbnb. So the deal determines what you're going to do with it, not anything else. So if you find a good deal, you're like, wow, this property is worth more than I'm buying it for, or if I'm buying it at a fair price, but if I put in an extra 50,000, I'm going to make it worth a lot more. Okay, then I want to do this deal. At that point, you're like, what could I do this deal? Could I put in an annual rental? Could I make it an Airbnb? Is it maybe commercial? Can I change the zoning? So a lot of times with real estate, you get paid for that thinking. And the more creative you become, the more money you get paid.
And do bank provide loan for fix and flip?
So there is bank loans for if you're going to fix it and live in it as a homeowner. If you're going to occupy the property, banks will provide the loan for that. Especially, and normally what I advise people to do is try to buy a multi-unit property and go through that process, because you're getting more bang for your time and your buck. You know, it's better for you to spend your time and spend your energy to get 4 units than to get 1. Now, fix and flip, a traditional bank with traditional interest rates usually do not. You can go to a investment bank to offer that, but the interest rates are a lot higher than if you're if you're owner occupied, it's a lot less interest. But if you're not owner occupied, then you can get it, but it's going to be higher interest rates, a lot higher.
So like when you get loan, so it's like what is the term that you're getting loan, like for 15 years or maybe like 30 years? For what?
I prefer the longest term possible personally, but again, in America they work different than they do overseas, because I know like in like Germany and like Canada, like when you get a loan, they're going to say, I want 5 years, 25 years, 50 years, whatever the term is. And like in Canada, if you do a 5-year amortized loan over 30 years, you pay it off sooner than that, there's a penalty. In America, if you get most loans that are under 4 units, there is no 4 units or less, there's no penalty for paying it off early. So there's a lot more flexibility, you know, a lot more flexibility. Yeah, a lot more flexibility in that situation.
So it's like what criteria do I have to get a loan? Like I applied for a loan for 6 months, and I showed to bank my like 1.5 year profits from my short-term rental business, but they still deny my loan. Like
well, and normally, like in America, you can be a non-citizen and get loans. You know, provide like passport and certain documentation, some basics. Most of the time, these investment banks, when they're giving loans, they don't care about you. They care about the business. Is this a profitable piece of property? Are you buying it at a good price? Will you make good money? And if they say yeah, they're not going to care, because they're going to be like, okay, if he screws up, we'll take it back and we'll sell it to someone else. Because we know somebody else will buy this easy if the numbers make sense. But if they don't make sense, it is it's, you know, they'll do the deal if it's a profitable deal.
But like they've told me that they've told me to bring my like last year profit results from my business, and I gave them my profit results, and they told me like I cannot, I'm not passed for the loan, because they told me that I need to get like 5 or 6 months job this month. 5 or 6 months, what we said, like salary they told me. So,
Got it. And this is okay. So they wanted you to have 5 or 6 months proof of profitability.
no, I have to show them the profitability of my business for almost 1 year. It's a short-term rental business, and it's a good money, but it's like I'm
So
not
you're
on.
you're trying to do a cash out refinance or a refinance. So it's called seasoning. So sometimes they'll require you to have like 6 months seasoning or 1 year seasoning for you to have a better interest rate. So by you showing them 6 months of you doing good or 1 year of you doing good, they're going to give you a better interest rate. There is some people that will do it without seasoning, but they're going to charge you a lot more interest.
All right, thank you. Thank you for help. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck with your business.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, lots of great questions. Vienna is a beautiful, beautiful place. Actually, I stayed there for about 2 weeks. Then I just went to Amsterdam. Really pretty state, our country.
Hello?
Hello, how are you?
Good, you?
Good, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really like your Instagram, so thank you so much for posting such good content.
You're very welcome. You're welcome. Congratulations. I think you're like the first. Are you in America?
No, I'm in Canada.
All right, you are not the first American girl to be on my show.
Yeah.
All right, well, North America, all right? You got the first North American.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically, I just had some questions for you. So I'm from close to Toronto, so pretty expensive area.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
did buy my first rental property this year. But I am living in it, so I'm house hacking. So I'm living in one of the rooms and then renting out the rest of the rooms. So I'm renting
Nice.
out two of the rooms to students and then the basement to an elderly woman.
Very
So
smart.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it's pretty good. It's been good, but now I'm just looking to invest in other areas just because, I don't think this area will be good for cash flow just because it is really expensive here. Like the average home is over 500,000. So it is
Mm-hmm.
really hard to find cash flow homes. Even in Canada in general, it's really hard to find areas that you can, make money from. So I was wondering what you'd recommend. Like, I don't know if you know in Canada any places, but I do know like there's places like London, Ontario, or Windsor that are a little more affordable. But I was wondering, what would you recommend for me to like invest out of Canada?
So remove like Canada from your mind, and I want to teach you a concept because if I mention cities, I'm not going to do as good as you are, right? Because you know your area better than me. I don't invest, um, in Canada. So and remember this concept. There's going to be the main city, New York City, um, Miami, LA, Toronto, Chicago, expensive. Think about that, right? These are expensive cities. Normally, what you do is you'll drive about an hour out, and when you're driving an hour out, you're gonna find where do these people go to hang out when they want to get away from the city. There has to be another city that's like, oh, this is really cool. People will go here, hang out, have a good time. Maybe when they're done with Toronto and they want to get married and have kids and they want a bigger place, they'll move there. A lot of fun stuff there. That is probably the place you want to buy to have as rental income. Because what will happen is some people are going to also live there because they work in the city, but it's too expensive for them to live. So you want to find a safe, good neighborhood with good schools outside, maybe an hour, maybe even 2 hours outside of the city. You buy there, and then you're going to have people that are wanting to be there to spend more time, have more space for their kids, and quality of life, safer. One of those reasons, and that's where you're going to want to invest because you'll be able to get a 2 unit for the price of a 1 unit or a 4 unit. You get what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
No, yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, just because the area that I invested in, I was lucky. Not, I mean, I worked really hard to find the house, but it was a house that needed a lot of work. But I was able to, cash out some money from there. That's why, I found it was really good for cash flow in that sense. But yeah, it is really hard just to find deals, just because there's so many people here in Toronto who, are investors as well. So when a deal comes up, a good deal at least that everyone wants, then it's sold within like the next day. So
Yeah,
that's why it's.
and that's what I do. I buy it the same day. The same day I
Mhm.
cost it, I'll take it, right? Because
Mhm.
if it's good, everyone wants it. If it's
Mhm.
bad, they're not. Now, sometimes you can get a property that's too expensive and negotiate them down because they've been on the market for 6 months. But to go back to the other thought I had is if you bought the property at a good price and it needed repairs and you fixed it up, you could possibly, and I don't know 100% if you're able to do it because of the loan you have, but it's possible that you could do the Burr method and do a cash out refinance on the property. So then you have more liquidity that you can spend towards your next deal.
Exactly. Yeah, I try to do that. I try to find homes that I can pull some money out so I can use it for the next investment. But I am currently in school as well, so it's a lot to handle all at once. But I'm just slowly trying to, after school, hopefully I can, go full time with
So
real
you're going to
estate.
college, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, in Canada, we think of it as university. I know in, America, everyone calls it just college, but here it's, university. It's with a 4-year bachelor's degree. I'm in computer
I went to the
science. Yeah.
I went to the university too,
Hmm.
but we just I went to the University of South
Yeah.
Florida. It's a
Hmm.
college.
Yeah, you guys call it college. Yeah, I know everyone calls it college in America, but we just call it university here if it's the 4-year program.
So just remember, you would be surprised how much you can accomplish when you make yourself do it. Like when I was going to school, I was getting my, I was finishing my accounting degree, and I was on like nights. I would be going to fix the properties, and on the weekends I would go to be fix the properties. So I had like 13 units, 13, 17 units at that time. So
Wow.
it's doable. Like, don't get me wrong, you don't sleep much, but you're like so hyped up to be like, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this, that it can motivate you to keep moving. And the other thing people make the mistake, I'm trying to think about like tips to look out for, is people don't show all their money on their tax returns. And I always showed all the money I made on my taxes, because the bank will not give you more money if you don't show them that you are making money, you know? So figure out the way to show the money on your taxes, and there should be some loopholes as a real estate investor for you to get extra discounts, where they're like, in America, you could depreciate the asset and that lowers the amount of taxes you have to pay. But when the bank looks at it, they're like, oh, we're going to add back depreciation, because that's really just a paper loss, not a real loss.
No, very true. Yeah, I agree with that as well. It's showing, how much money you make. That way, you can also be approved for other loans as well. I know I do see people, hiding money from their tax returns, but I know that's not, something you should do. But basically, thank you so much for all the help. Really, I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And feel free to keep submitting these questions. I'm more than happy to help.
All
Have a
right,
great
thank you
day.
so much. You too. Bye.
Bye. That girl's a hustler. No, you don't see many people do that. Am I from Canada? No, I'm from Florida. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Just popping in, had a couple questions for you.
I'm here for you.
All right, so I don't know if you've ever ventured into like actually building like properties, but like what would be your take on that?
Okay. So I have looked at it, and I ran the numbers. And I don't do things off of what I want. I do things based off of what does the numbers tell me, what does the data show, right? Warren Buffett doesn't say like, I feel like buying Coca-Cola because I want to. He bought it because he knows the data showed there's the projections, and this is what he thinks is going to happen based off of the data. So, you know who Manny Kashaban is?
Yeah, of course.
Right? Everybody knows who Manny Kashaban is. He doesn't build.
No.
He says it takes too long to build. There's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of issues, a lot of problems. So unless you are a builder and you are a GC, you're in the business of building, and you build 12 properties a year, and you're like, I got all this extra capacity that my people could build a property, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right? Now, excuse me, I was burping. In like New Jersey,
Yeah.
I ran the numbers. It's kind of hard to be very profitable in the rental game in New Jersey, and the laws are really not in your favor. It's doable. It's a skill set you pick up, but it's more profitable for you to buy, bulldoze, and build a brand new house.
That is true.
So it's possible to win both ways, but in both ways, both markets, it's still very competitive, and it has a lot of hurdles. But that's why a lot of people in New Jersey and New York come and try to do it in Florida, or Georgia, or North Carolina, or Arizona, or Texas, where it's a little bit easier in the state. There's a little bit less factors. But being in New Jersey and doing it in New Jersey is also that helps out too. They have connections, and they could just drive a half an hour to be to the job site. So there's pros and cons to either situation. But like, again, if you're gonna go make a ton of money building a property, and it's a great thing to do, but if you're able to find 3 to 4 houses and just remodel them and sell them, that's even better, because it'd be better if you did that instead of rebuilding a brand new house and putting up 200, making 200, is if you do 4 remodels and make 50 off of each.
And it's a lot quicker too, I'd imagine.
It is kind of quicker, but at the same time, the risk exposure is different. So like, say you're making 200,000, you're in a $1.2 million house. But if you're trying to make 50,000 off of a home remodel, you might be in a $400,000 house, put in 50 and sell it for 500 or 550 and make 50 after fees. So the exposure, if you're stuck with the house, is only $500,000, not 1.2 million. You can still sell a $500,000 house if the market tanks. It's hard to sell a $1.2 million house when the market tanks.
That is true. Yeah.
So you can win any way you cut it. It's just pros and cons along the way.
I was just wondering mainly just because I figure you could write off a lot of it if you build it, but I mean at the same time you could you have your business expenses with just remodeling it.
Yeah, they're the same expenses.
Yeah,
think about it, because if you're thinking about you're saying you're going to build a house and build it for $1 million, and you have expenses in the house. Part of the expenses are $1 million. So now your building plus expenses is $1 million. You're selling it for $2 million. You got 1.2 million. You have $200,000 in taxes. Yeah. Either way you cut it. Now again, both situations you're probably going to be at a lower tax bracket anyway, but the exposure amount is a little different, you know?
Yeah, I get that. No, I appreciate it, man. I'm an accounting nerd as well. I mean, I know you studied accounting too, so I was just looking at it more from the tax perspective, and mainly, I mean, I really just wanted to know about like the tax benefits that go into it. I mean,
they're about the same. They're really the same, because if you're gonna build it, you're gonna build it within an LLC anyway, and you're gonna pull in your profit as a employee, and then you're gonna pull out a majority. The lion's share of the profit's gonna be a K1. You're gonna be at 15% either way.
Okay.
You know, so either way you cut it, you're gonna be at a low tax bracket. So it's not about that. Not like the tax side, the accountant's going to figure out a way to help you. And you're just going to work within the way they tell you to do it. But it's really, who cares if you save 10% in taxes if you lost 30% in value and principal?
Yeah.
You know, it won't. So, I mean, so again, the deal is the most important thing. If you make a ton of money and you pay taxes, good for you.
No, I appreciate it, Pascal.
You're welcome, buddy. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
All right, let's see next question.
Hey, Pascal.
Hey, buddy, what's up?
What's up, man? I have a quick question. I'm in Texas, and I'm working in liquor store for 5 years, and this is the only business I know, and I'm getting like 100K in my hand, and I don't know, should I risk them, invest them in the liquor business, the things I know, or should I go in real estate is more safe, usually people saying.
Okay. Honestly, I can argue both. I can argue both businesses, okay? Because I know people who are in the liquor business and make a lot of money here in Florida, and people in LA and they make a lot of money, okay? There's people who lose a lot of money.
Yes,
People
that's more.
The people who make a lot of money in real estate and people who lose a lot of money. So I'm going to tell you this. It comes down to the deal, okay? You know one liquor store is going to make money, and one liquor store, you look at it, you're like, this is never going to make money. Do not fall in love. The numbers you should love. But you know if it's a bad deal. So when you look at a liquor store, don't look like you're going to buy it. Look like your cousin's going to buy it. And then you're going to be like, no, it's not worth it. No way, they're lying. You're going to know if they're lying with the numbers. You worked in a liquor store, you know the area, you know the prices they sell you. They're never going to sell Grey Goose for that much money. They cannot produce that volume. The bottles they're selling, they don't produce. I'm going to ask the liquor rep. He said they don't sell that many boxes. You already know if they're going to lie or not. So if it's a good deal, then yeah. Now, if it's not a good deal, then no. And that's the same thing with real estate. You're always going to fall in love with your first spot. That's why I say look at 100. Because when you look at 100, when you're dating 100 pieces of real estate, you're going to know which one's good. You're going to know which one liquor stores are. So in both businesses, you make your money in your buy. If you buy it at a good price, you're going to make money. If you overpay, you overpay. Now,